All right, so you've been thinking about it and you're finally gonna do it. You want to start and grow a brand new YouTube channel. Well, you've come to the right place, my friend, because today I'm gonna take you through everything that I wish that I knew when I started my YouTube channel over 10 years ago. Okay, let's get started. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Steckly, and here on my YouTube channel, I love to talk all things social media. I love making videos about Instagram tips and advice, talking about how to start a podcast, and now we're also talking about YouTube channel tips. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Step 1, and this might be different from what you've heard before. I want you to choose a few niches. A lot of people, when they're giving advice about starting a YouTube channel, will tell you to pick one niche and stick to it because the YouTube algorithm is going to get to know you for one particular subject, and so you need to keep posting about that to gain authority in that area. And there is definitely some truth to that. But I want to advise you, when you're getting started and the first thing you're thinking about is, what is my YouTube channel going to be about? I think that you should have at least 2 to 3 different niches in mind that you would be equally as happy to specialize in the future. The reason why I want you to pick a few rather than just one is because I really do believe it will increase your chances of potentially blowing up, getting a video to perform well, and then eventually gaining a bigger following. If you just pick one niche and always stick to it, but as it turns out, there's just not that much interest in that niche for whatever reason, the market's already cornered in search, then unfortunately, you're just gonna spend a lot of time making videos about a niche that are never really gonna get that many views. And if you would have just started experimenting in different subjects, then you might have had an easier time finding out what sticks. So the idea with this method is you pick 2 to 3 niches, you throw them all at the wall, and you see what sticks to the algorithm. Let me tell you a little bit of a lesson that I learned through this. So a couple of years ago, my YouTube channel was completely about travel and filmmaking. I made tutorials about how to take good photos on the Canon 80D, how to become a freelance filmmaker, and then of course travel vlogs. And I thought, this is my niche, I just need to stick to it, and eventually I'll succeed in that niche. And then one day I thought, hey, you know what? I get lots of questions about how I make my Instagram stories, so I'm gonna make a video called Instagram Story Hacks for Creators 2019, and who knows, probably nobody will watch it, but we'll see. And that YouTube video just so happened to change the course of my YouTube channel forever because that really stuck in the algorithm for some reason. It was hitting on an area where people were interested in it, they were searching for it, and it performed really well. And now my entire channel is about social media and content creation. Just think how much faster I could have grown if I would have experimented with talking about Instagram a little bit earlier, rather than 10 years into my YouTube journey. That's right, I started out on YouTube in 2009, and it was 2019 before I had a viral hit and I ended up getting to the 10,000 subscriber mark. So all of that is to say, when you're first getting started, don't just pick one niche, pick a few, and then make videos in those different areas and see what does well. Just one area I want to caution you on when you are doing this, make sure that all of the niches that you are experimenting in are ones that you would be equally as happy to end up being your entire life. Because the fact is, if one of these videos goes viral, does really well in search, gets a ton of views, now your entire YouTube channel is going to be about that niche, at least for the foreseeable future. You want to make sure that you capitalize on that popularity and use all the traction that you have to gain momentum in your growth. So if you end up making a one-off video about a topic that you're not really that interested in, it could blow up, and then guess what? Everybody who's subscribed to your channel wants to see more content about that topic. So just be prepared for that, because honestly, I was not when that Instagram video blew up. All right, so you've got a couple niches and you're brainstorming video ideas, you're ready to get started. Let's talk about the next step. Once you've decided on the 3 or 4 niches that you're gonna be experimenting in, it is time to get consistent right away. I think one of the biggest mistakes that brand new YouTubers make is they don't feel any obligation to having a consistent schedule. Tell me if you've ever felt like, nobody's watching my videos anyway, so nobody will notice if I don't post a video. Trust me, I have felt that before. I have felt that honestly very, very recently, because when you aren't getting a lot of views, you feel like nobody would notice if I just faded into the background and never made a video again. But trust me, my friend, you will notice. Your dreams will notice when they don't come true because you didn't commit to making those videos. Whether or not people are watching them right now in the moment is completely irrelevant to the importance of being consistent. For one thing, if your ultimate goal is to become a popular YouTuber who's got a big audience that you're making videos for, then you might as well start practicing having a consistent schedule, because someday you are going to need to be posting 1 or 2 videos or however many you want to per week. So you might as well get used to doing that now, so then when you do grow an audience, it won't be a difficult transition to start being consistent. Plus, the way I see it, and I hope that you'll forgive me for a sports metaphor, because I'm such a sports person, I see every YouTube video as like a chance at bat in baseball. You're never going to hit a home run if you don't just step up to bat and swing for once, right? So if you're not making videos, you're never going to get a viral video. And of course, not every hit is going to be a home run. You're going to bat some singles and doubles, but those are all a part of the journey of building up a really good content library of videos that future potential subscribers are going to see, and eventually those videos will be what convinces them to hit the subscribe button. So don't cheat yourself out of chances to make those videos that will eventually convince people to subscribe. You need to take all the time you have now to make videos that are going to do well in search, gain views over time, and eventually convert viewers into subscribers. Plus, if you're brand new to this whole YouTube thing, you're probably gonna need to do it a few times to practice to get good at making videos. Nobody comes out of the womb ready to talk into a camera lens like it's a human being, and nobody just naturally knows how to use Premiere Pro or any other editing software. It all takes practice. And honestly, it's better to do that practice while you don't have that many people watching you, because then you don't have to feel embarrassed later about the cringy videos that you once made and how many people saw them. I know for me, I am so glad that I got to spend several years looking very awkward and cringy on camera, so that now I am much more prepared to feel confident and comfortable in front of the camera, and I know that my videos are high quality and I'm delivering valuable content to people, and I can be confident about that because I've had so much practice before anybody was watching me. And along with consistency, I just really want to stress one more time that you don't need to worry about the number of views that you're getting on your videos right now. Chances are when you first get started, even if you are making videos that are super optimized to perform well on YouTube, which I'll talk more about how to do that in just a minute, even if you're doing that, your videos probably aren't going to be getting a ton of views right off the bat. But it's okay, because YouTube is a search engine, and when you're creating videos that are targeted for search, they're going to get more views slowly over time. So many people are searching for that topic any given day, week, or month, and so the more months that go past, the more people that are searching for that topic, and therefore the more people that are watching your video. So you can't expect to have, 100 or 1,000 views within the first week of posting a YouTube video. It's going to take some time for people to find it. So don't stress out about that. Keep on making videos consistently, knowing that someday they will be super helpful to your future audience, and they are going to just keep on helping you to grow, months and years into the future. Okay, so you've got some niches you're going to try out, and now you've committed to a schedule. I want you to be posting a video at least once a week. I know it might sound intimidating, but I promise you can do it. Now let's talk about how to make those videos actually work for you. How can we make them perform well and ensure that you're going to get those views that will eventually turn into subscribers? All right, I've brought you over here to my classroom to tell you the formula for a YouTube video that is going to perform well, especially for a small channel who is just getting started out. The main thing you need to keep in mind when you're a brand new YouTuber just starting out is that you really do need to treat YouTube as a search engine. When you have no existing audience, the main way that you are going to generate traffic and gain subscribers is by creating videos that are targeted for search. You'll probably notice that a lot of your favorite creators who have a lot of subscribers aren't necessarily doing this. And it is true, videos that show up on your homepage, in your suggested videos, or on trending aren't necessarily videos that are doing well in search. They're doing well because the people who happen to see them clicked on them at a high rate and then also watched them for the majority of the video. That's not the kind of growth that you're going to have access to when you first get started, because that kind of virality depends on having at least a small existing audience that can give YouTube the data it needs to know to recommend that video. So anyway, that's just to say we're not going to be focusing on clickbait here. We're not trying to make sensational titles or really crazy thumbnails to get people to click on our videos. The point of this is to figure out what people are looking for, make videos for those topics, and then slowly over time get views for them. And then eventually, once you have a big enough audience, then you can start worrying about like the clickbait or the trends or capturing your audience's attention in some way. So that being said, how do we make videos that are gonna perform well in the search engine that is YouTube? The first thing you need to do is make sure that you create a title that is highly searchable. Turns out it's very hard to write on an angle like this. Of course, along with having a searchable title, the topic of your video needs to be answering a question that many people may be asking. So when you're thinking about those several different niches that you're going to experiment with, start looking around at what people who are interested in those niches are searching for. Are they looking for tutorials or how-tos or FAQs answered? Whatever it is in your niche, figure out what people are looking for, but what many other people have not yet answered. That is the intersection that we're looking for that is going to be so important to succeeding in the search engine. It's answering a question that is very frequently asked, but not very frequently answered. The way that you can figure out different video topics that land at that exact intersection is by using an application like TubeBuddy or vidIQ. I personally use TubeBuddy, so let's take a look at exactly how you can use it too. TubeBuddy is an awesome free Chrome plugin that you can install, sign into with your Google account, and you can start using their Keyword Explorer to find out what kind of topics are going to perform well in search. I use this all the time when I'm trying to decide what YouTube videos that I want to make. So all you have to do is open up the Keyword Explorer, and I might try searching something like how to start a YouTube channel in 2020. We can see that for my channel, I'm getting a 62 out of 100, which indicates that there is a high search volume and the competition is fair. You know what I mean? It's not crazy, like there's a ton of people making videos on this topic, but there's also not no one. To compare, let's try another search term like how to grow on YouTube. Here we can see that the rating for this one is 32 out of 100. There actually aren't that many people typing this into YouTube search, so the search volume is not very high. And the competition, it's also not very high, but there aren't really enough searches here to warrant making a video about this. You can see through this example that the same kind of video could actually perform better just by applying a different title to it. So of course you want to make sure that your title is true and accurate to the video that you're making, but just rephrasing the title or reframing what the video is about by a slight bit can actually really change how it performs in search. So I really recommend typing out your titles into Keyword Explorer and seeing what you get back before you even start creating a video. That way you'll know if it's worth your time or not. I always do this before I make YouTube videos. Okay, so you've created a video that is gonna show up in search results. When people are looking for your niche, your video is gonna come up at the top of that page. Okay, so people are seeing that title. You need to make sure now that they're actually gonna click on your video. That is the second part of this formula that is very, very important. And the way that you can make sure people are gonna click on your video is by creating a very clickable thumbnail. Having a super clickable thumbnail is just as important as having a highly searchable title, because once people see your video, you need to make sure that they actually click on it. One of the main factors in YouTube's algorithm of whether or not they're going to recommend your video in the suggested videos or on home pages is if you have a high CTR, which stands for click-through rate. YouTube assumes that the higher percentage of people who see your video and then click on it would indicate that your topic is particularly interesting or is going to get other people to click on that video and therefore keep them on YouTube longer. So we're always aiming to make sure that whoever sees our video is gonna click on it and they are gonna watch it. Because not only is that obviously gonna help you convert search traffic into actual viewers, but it could help you get your video recommended in the algorithm later on. Let's take a look at a couple examples of thumbnails and how I personally optimize my thumbnails to make them as clickable as possible. All right, let's talk about how to design thumbnails that are gonna get clicks. We're gonna look at a couple examples from my channel of videos that have performed really well for me. Here's one I made about how to trim TikToks after you're done recording them. Something that I like to do for every single thumbnail edit, despite whether I'm gonna add additional graphics or not, is I always cut myself out of the background and I make the background just a little bit blurrier. Obviously, this is something you can do with your camera lens just by having like a lower f-stop, but this makes it a little bit more dramatic and just makes the subject pop out of the image a little bit more. Sometimes I will even lower the exposure of the background just so I'm brighter and more clear than everything surrounding me, so I really stand out from the rest of the thumbnail. This also allows any text or graphics that I add in addition to my face, that will stand out better as well because it'll really pop out from the background. You can see how much a difference this makes between the version where all I did was add text and the TikTok logo and the version where I cut myself out, made the background blurrier, and I added some additional graphics that displayed the interface of TikTok and what I was going to be explaining in the video. Here's another example of video that performed really well for me where I was talking about hacks for new Instagram accounts. Another thing that I've been doing recently is I've actually developed my own Lightroom preset that I use to edit all of my thumbnails. This makes them all have a very consistent look and feel to them, but also, let's just say this isn't an edit that I would really do on an Instagram photo. That's because it's very contrasty, very highly saturated, super bright, and that's exactly what works well on YouTube. You need to make sure that your thumbnails are super crisp, clear, bright colors. That is what's going to stand out in the list of all the other thumbnails on the search results. So in addition to making your background more blurry and making sure that your subject and your title really stand out, I would also recommend upping that saturation, increasing the sharpness. Just keep in mind that this is going to be a really small little thumbnail on your computer screen, so you want to do everything you can to make it stand out. Finally, the last thing I want to mention for thumbnails is that when you are adding text to your thumbnail, use it as another opportunity to create like a secondary title that's going to be a little bit more enticing or curiosity driving than just your search-based title. A lot of the times you'll find, especially when you're using Keyword Explorer to create really highly searchable titles, is that the titles are going to end up feeling a little bit bland and like the kind of thing just your average person would type into YouTube, so it won't sound that exciting. But that's okay. You still want to use that title because it's going to help people find your video, but putting text in your thumbnail gives you another chance to create a more fun or exciting title that's going to get people interested, and you can put that in your thumbnail with text. Okay, so your video is showing up in search, so people are seeing it when they are searching for your niche. They're also clicking on it because you've made a killer thumbnail. Now we need to bring it home with the third piece of this puzzle, which is getting people to watch to the very end of your video. The third component that is really going to determine the success of your video in the YouTube algorithm is having a really long watch time. This basically indicates to YouTube how good your video is. If people click on it but then they leave like 30 seconds into the video, that is like screaming at YouTube, this was clickbait, do not recommend this. But if you can get people to watch to halfway through or the end of your video, that is really going to help your video get recommended because it's telling YouTube, hey, this is a valuable video. The people who are clicking on it are staying on YouTube longer because they clicked on it. Let's show it to more people. And how do you do this? Well, for one, you need to make sure that your videos are packed with value and super fast paced. There can be no rambling, no pausing, no breaths, and no ums or ahs. You got to edit all of that out and make sure that you are being very concise and also very clear with the information that you're communicating. Any potential reason that you could be giving people to click away from the video needs to be eliminated. You want to make sure that people who start the video finish the video. And honestly, this can be one of the most difficult and elusive parts of this whole formula. I mean, all of it is a little bit ambiguous. It can be hard to pick the perfectly clickable thumbnail, but it's also very hard to capture and keep the attention of people that you don't know. So it's going to take a lot of trial and error, but in general, I would advise you, if you are a seasoned YouTube viewer and you love watching videos, watch your own video, the day after you finish editing it, and just be super honest with yourself and say, were there any points where I got bored here? Maybe I need to cut something out or change the way I edited it. And the cherry on top of this whole formula, once you can get people to see your video in search, click on your video, and then watch it to the end, is adding an end screen that is going to convert people from watching just one video of yours to many videos. Especially at the beginning, if you don't have a ton of videos, I would actually recommend making an end screen link to somebody else's video that has performed well. No matter what you link to, it's just important that you have a follow-up video that people can watch once they finish watching your first video, because that is going to create what YouTube calls a watch session. And if you can create really long watch sessions with your videos, that is going to indicate to YouTube that your content is the kind of content that keeps people on their platform longer, and therefore they're going to want to recommend it to more viewers. So whether your end screen links to another video of your own or to a video by a creator whose content is similar to you, whichever you choose, just make sure that people who make it to the end of your video don't stop watching there, they keep on watching more YouTube. At the end of the day, this whole algorithm is built around the fact that YouTube wants to keep people on their platform for as long as possible. The longer people sit and watch YouTube, the more ads they will see, and therefore the more money that YouTube will make. So when we're making our videos, The main purpose is to get people to keep on watching, and we want them to start watching because they found our video in search and they clicked on it because we had a really good thumbnail, and then our video was really interesting and engaging, so they watched through the whole thing of that, and they kept on watching because we recommended them other relevant videos they would be interested in. Okay, you have come so far. We are almost there. You've figured out the different niches you're going to experiment with. You've gotten a consistent schedule in place, and you've learned the YouTube algorithm and how to optimize your videos to perform well. The next piece of the puzzle that you really need to get right is persistence. This might feel a little bit more abstract or intangible, but trust me, it is the most important part. As you get going on this journey, as you keep making videos, you are going to get discouraged. You're going to feel like everybody around you is growing faster than you are. You're going to feel like you're pouring your heart and soul and your time into these videos that hardly anybody is watching. And when you feel like that, I need you to know that it is so important to keep on going. You're going to have so many examples in your head of other creators who have done it faster than you, and you must just not be that talented or not have a skill to share. Trust me, you do. Those thoughts have run through my mind more times than I can count. I've been making YouTube videos since I was 12 years old, and now I'm 24. So I've been doing this for a really long time, and it's been my dream for pretty much my whole life to have a successful YouTube channel. And you can imagine through that decade or so, I saw lots of people start a channel and become very successful throughout that time. And you know what? Here's the thing. If I would have succumbed to those thoughts along the way, I would not be where I am right now. There are so many moments where I felt like quitting and where I kind of did take a break for a while before coming back to it. If I wouldn't have ever come back, I never would have hit, 60,000 plus subscribers where I am now. So I just want you to know, if it feels like it's taking forever, I know, I've been there. It is gonna feel like that, but the only thing you can do is keep on going. If you quit, you're locking in your losses. You're guaranteeing that you will never grow on YouTube. But if you keep on going, you keep that chance alive. You keep stepping up to the plate and swinging your bat, and eventually you will get a home run, even if it takes you 10 years like me. Another quick piece of advice that I want to leave you with is this. Make sure you are always keeping track of your analytics and what is performing well for you. This is why I want you to keep in mind that you can hold several different niches at once, experiment and see what does well, and just always be on your feet and be ready and watching for when one of those videos does perform really well so that you can shift your content strategy to speak more often to that topic. Part of YouTube is taking feedback from your audience, learning what does well and what doesn't, and just make sure that you're responding to that and you don't get too stuck in your ways to see a great opportunity that's opening up in front of you. So you'll know when it's right to narrow down to a specific niche once you see one of your videos in that niche starting to outperform compared to your other videos. That's a good sign that you should start making more videos about that niche and maybe narrow down a little bit. Speaking of niches, at this point, you might be wondering, where do I start with coming up with a niche anyway? I have so many different passions. How am I ever supposed to pick? Don't worry, my friend, I have been there. Oh, have I been there? And so I have come up with a process that I think is going to work really well for you. And I've actually made a whole video all about it. So definitely go click on this video, watch this next. I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process that will help you find your 2 or 3 niches that you want to start your YouTube channel with. So go ahead and watch that video next. Before you go, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in this video. Okay, bye.